this idea came about that we might try and make a professional level, professional quality movie of our holiday. Because I hadn't thought it feasible before, but I thought the weight of the stuff, things like this tripod, not very practical to travel by on a plane. Unless you want to pay the money to do it, of course. So, but then when I realised, of course, that Neil's going to come by car, I thought, well, perhaps Neil can bring all the kit. And Neil says, well, how much is that? How much was you talking about? He said, can you send me a photograph? So I thought, oh, well, better than that, I'll do a little brief film clip of all the equipment and send that to him, see? So, but then I thought, well, while I'm doing that, I'm set up like this, I might as well talk a little bit about filmmaking with the bare essentials, so that you can easily transport what you've got. You don't need a great big van load of kit or stuff like that. I did some courses on filming with this setup called Film Oxford, and every time we were out on a shoot, we had a big van load of stuff, and I thought, well, can we manage with less stuff than that? So I've come to the conclusion that you don't need a big camera. You don't need a big camera. The camera that is being used right now, it's not as big as this. It's not as big, it's smaller than this one. But the thing is, it must be a good camera. Obviously you want high definition, stuff like that. But you also want to be able to adjust the white balance. So if you hold a piece of white card in front of the camera, under various light conditions, you adjust the white balance, so the hue of that white card will look the same in every scene, even though the lighting conditions vary. So you want a camera that can give you white balance. It doesn't matter how small it is, if it'll give you white balance, there you go. Now the other thing about the camera that you use, you want to find a small camera that will also do a certain amount of editing in the camera. Because the point is, if you upload the stuff you've shot as it is into an editor, you're stuck. It doesn't matter. Say you shoot for an hour and you only want 5 minutes of that hour. If you load that into an editor, you're stuck with that hour's worth material. You can't cut it down, because all the editor will do, if you want this piece, it will select the start and finish of where that piece is, but it won't delete. If you try to delete something, you'll delete part of it, say. But all the editor does is make that part inaccessible. It doesn't delete it, it's still there. So it's still taking up space in your editor. But with a camera like this, you can delete the junk in the camera. So if you've got 2 hours worth of shooting and 10 minutes of good stuff that you want, all you need to put in your editor is that 10 minutes. So that's another facility. So, so much for the camera. Incidentally, I will say, look, if you take a camera like this, you don't use cameras like this anymore because it uses tape and you tend to use hard disk or some solid state thing now. But I like the features. I mean, look, I hate touchscreen. I like to have actual buttons, and you have buttons on this and they light up. They're all lit up, look. See, they're all lit up, those buttons on the top. And I don't like touchscreen at all. Anyway, so much for the camera. You don't need a big one. You can, if you get a good quality one, you don't need a big camera. So that's a help for a start. Now let's go to the tripod. The tripod is another matter. You cannot skimp on the tripod. You have to have a real professional tripod. You cannot cope without it. So you have to accept that. See, I mean, you look at a typical amateur tripod. I mean, they're absolutely useless. I mean, not only are they very flimsy and wobbly, they are difficult. When you see that, you want to put that away, look at that. It's a hell of a job to get those things to contract again when you pull them out. So, this is heavy, of course, but boy, it's so easy to handle. When you want to extend a leg, you just lift it up like that, slap, and it comes out under its own weight. But when you want it to go back, no problem. No, none of this. And of course, it's rigid. It's absolutely solid. Absolutely solid. It's beautiful to a leg. Just go ding with one leg like that. Put the weight on that leg. You can release the leg out where you want it like that. It's simple. It's so easy to manipulate. And of course, having these two handles on here, that's great. You see, once you get your thing set up, it's so easy to adjust the length of the legs because they move. When you loosen the thing, they pretty well go under their own weight. Gravity takes over, and you've got to spin it level, and in no time you can level that up quite precisely. And you see, when you use one of these things, you have a sort of ball and socket thing here like this, which the camera goes on, and you've got a screw in the bottom like that. And this is like that, see? And when you point it to something, you get it, when it's exactly like that. When you tighten it up, the actual tightening moves it a bit. And if you're zooming in on something and everything's magnified, it's just hopeless. It's hopeless. See this? It is so... You don't have a thing that you're screwing the bottom, you have a flat plate. The camera slides in grooves on the flat plate. There's a button here like that. You push the button in, it slides in, the button comes out, and then you just tighten it up on the other side. And it's there. When you want to take it out, well, loosen that, press the button, zoom, you just pull it off. No, you don't have to twist down with a screw underneath like that. But it's beautiful. You have the camera on your tripod like that, and you can just accurately move it around. You don't tighten or loosen anything. See, you adjust it so that it will move just how you want it. You decide how easy, you like that. And then you just go like that, boom. Lift it up a bit, boom. And you put precisely where you want it. Just look at that. I mean, see that? See what a difference? I mean, once you've had one of these, how could you cope with something like this? You couldn't. You just couldn't. So you have to put up with the fact you have to have a professional tripod, and it's heavy, but you can put it in a shoulder. You can put it in a holder with a shoulder strap, and it's not as heavy as a bag of golf clubs. So you must have that. Now, lights. Normally speaking, they reckon on using 3 lights. 2 lights like we've got here, but a lot of people say you should have a 3rd light behind as well. You sort of light the hair up a bit. But I just use 2 like this. And this is the other thing is, you see, these are nice simple lights. A total output about 1,000 watts. That's 1,000 watts equivalent. It doesn't burn 1,000 watts of electricity, but it's an equivalent 1,000 watts. They got pretty hot, but not like, I know a young lady who's a real expert filmmaker, and she has lights that, boy, if you can literally scorch the ceiling if you put them up too high near the ceiling. They're so bright and give so much heat. And not only that, when you switch them off, you have to wait for them to cool down before you dare move them. Whereas these, you don't have to bother with that. You can just switch them off and straight away start moving them around. Also, I would say as well, keep the box they come in, because they come in a nice box, when you're packing them away, like that. I mean, you might think that's obvious, but some people might be sick and throw the box away, I don't know. But it's, you want to keep that. Right, is there anything else I need to say? Running. Running.
Bloodhound Private 1K supporters meeting, scene 2, take 1.
Action.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Right, so we'll do another one.
Yeah.
Because, I just noticed that. Also, of course, wherever you are, you want to have some. If you're out on a shoot somewhere, have something that tells people who you are and what you're doing. Phone number, website. Give yourself the films that inspire. Free trial shooting. There you go. See, good publicity wherever you are. Wherever you are. Now the main purpose of this really is to show Neil how compact it all is. Because I don't want him to be worried about if she's going to have a load of stuff to transport when we go on our holiday. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pack it all up so you can see. So that's the heaviest bit, the tripod. This has got the lights in and it's half empty. You could stuff this bag with other stuff as well. And apart from those two, all you've got are these. That's it.